What's going on, my Taurus collective? This is your creative energy forecast for July. There's a lot of stuff happening in terms of transits. I've made some notes. I will read them to you. There are a couple important dates, so I'll start off with that and then I'll get into the themes that came up while I was meditating on the energy for the month. The full moon is happening in Capricorn on July 13th. So we're entering July in Cancer season. So it's great energy. I really like the softness of it. It feels quite lovely. The full moon in Capricorn is July 13th, which is really about practical determination. It's about finding some nourishment for the journey, but there's also a release here, right? So it's like expanding on the details that make the passion take flight, and passion meaning the carryover from the last full moon we had in Sagittarius, and how there are indications and energetics to it that it will stretch beyond just last month. Last month, early this month, because you'll be seeing this in July and June. Oh my goodness, I'm stumbling over my words here. But anyways, it's expanding on the details that make passion take flight. So there's discipline, determination, ambitious dreaming, looking at where you also limit your own expansion, and really thinking about and where you limit your own expansion and the method by which you allow that. Right. This is the steps and getting into the details of things, the detailed aspects of it, and also the intuitive hits that you get while looking at the next steps, right? Like, what's the next step for something that you're doing? And I also got this image of like learning to ride a bike, right? Like this, and the knee pads and elbow pads that we'd have when we were kids, or I mean, I often didn't, but it's seeing everything. Seeing the big picture helps, and just the process. This is very process oriented energy. So then we move from the July 13th full moon into the new moon in Leo on July 28th. So I think the end of July is going to have some energy activated, nothing to really be fearful of or anything like that. But the Jupiter retrograde starts on the 29th. So we have the new moon in Leo on the 28th of July, which is really about shining your light and not being afraid to express yourself creatively, and to really to step into your creative power, channeling that, and how is it that you're governing your world? How is it that your domain, like think of the lion, right? The Leo, the lion in you. Where are you governing your domain, and how are you doing that? This aspect of cultivating your quiet, fiery traits that just get things done, right? That soft strength and power, calling creativity back to yourself too. Like, where's your creativity been at? And starting creative projects. And also, allowing yourself to creatively think and play, and stoking that inner fire, and using your internal facing joy to catalyze the methodical progress that you released intentions about with the Capricorn full moon on July 13th. So that's going to be really important. And then on July 29th, we have the Jupiter retrograde. That will be in Aries, and then it will move into Pisces. It goes direct on November 23rd. So it is in retrograde on July 29th. This is really about lending some practical insight into what we need, into where we need to expand ourselves and our energy. And it's like a from the inside out energy, right? So Jupiter in Aries was a lot about personal power, independence, themes of how we're honoring ourselves. And I feel like that was sort of a baptism by fire, right? It was a bit of a baptism by fire into your sense of self. I spoke to a lot of folks about that, and just friends and things like that, and the energy was very much of seeing and experiencing situations that didn't test in terms of like karmic tests and all of that stuff. It's more so just how are you honoring yourself, and being given opportunities through situations that crossed your path to demonstrate a strong sense of self. So I think the Jupiter retrograde will be about cultivating skills and habits that carry us forward, and taking a look at the decision-making aspect of this. So you may have to make impulsive decisions. You may need to make decisions quickly with the Jupiter and Aries aspect. Because it's in Aries, there could be that. The retrograde is really just a call to consider. So this was my take on it, but don't necessarily be too impulsive. But if you have to act quickly or in a way that may feel counterintuitive to giving yourself time, Stay true to what will keep the faith for you. Where does your faith sit? Or is it within yourself? Like where is your energy going much of the time? And ask yourself, might this decision require me to restore faith later, or does this honor me and that faith now? So that's how you make those quick decisions. If you have to think quickly or think on your feet, right? And so this Jupiter in retrograde will be felt most prominently by Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. There will be a lot of feelings of growth and expansion. Fixed signs are least affected. The mutable signs, I think is mutable. Oh my goodness, I'm having a brain cramp. Anyways, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces are going to feel it the second most, because it's kind of it's more inward facing. The inner world is going to experience that expansion. So those are the major transits. And you might find as well, I just made a note that towards the middle of July, because of some kind of some transits, you might find that between July 10th and 16th, things might feel a bit dreamy and illusion-y, like they might feel just outside your reach. So there could be also a start, stop, push, pull energy. It's not extensive, but just to be mindful and to cultivate your own energy. Again, these reminders of keeping a strong sense of self will help you through that. It's nothing huge. It's not like Mercury retrograde, level of intensity. So when I was meditating on the energy, I was kayaking, and I'm going to put footage of this in the meditation happening that I'm going to put up on this channel on Sunday. But it was about rememory. So that's from a concept or part of the book, Toni Morrison's book, Beloved. So memory is a constant knowledge, but rememory is really this aspect of our memory where we forget what we know. We forget how much we know. We forget what's been there all the time. Now, I made notes for this too. So it's sort of recalling something you forgot that you knew. And I was thinking about this relative to the trees that were underwater and the roots. The trees had been long cut down, but the roots were so thick. Like some of them were as broad as the kayak itself. They were huge and so beautiful. And just to behold it, I felt so like that was such a gift. But I thought, what are the things that the earth, like we are memorying along. I mean, people may be like, rememory is the term that was used in the book, and it's an invocation of remembering things we forgot we knew. And it's sometimes things that we repress too, right? Like the trees were so large that they must have been ancient trees. Just the size of them. And what came to mind was just, what are the parts of the earth and ourselves that we forget under these, human-made constructions like dams and lakes. We know what we should be familiar and what we should be familiar with and what should be familiar, but we can't really recognize the familiarity and where it comes from. So it's slippery, right? But what's the rememory of the earth, right? What does this call back to us when we see ourselves in this gentle light as well, right? So it's sort of recalling what's been forgotten, but what may have been forgotten with intention. This could be, akin to spiritual awakenings. This can be a time for that energy as well. So Taurus, lots happening, but the rememory really stood out, right? Human-made constructs, be they dams or concepts of self or institutions, they repress. But when we stumble upon them, we don't see. We don't see the hard edges of human, but the soft lines of the divine in the way that life unexpectedly, and the life expectancy of wonder carries on. So it's really the beauty of this rememory and reintroducing parts to ourselves. So. Okay, so we have the light field. Okay, the light field. Spirit, what messages do you have for my Taurians for this July creative forecast, please? Intimacy. I like that energy. The light field, intimacy. Loving all that is, and then beneath that was the spiral dance of the goddess. That's it. I feel like this deep creative energy, loving all that is. Yeah. I feel like this could be a full moon energy. So full moon in Capricorn. It could also be informed by things to do with the full moon in Sagittarius, but we'll see where this takes us. So actually, you know what? Just kidding. First, I'm going to read one of the cards to you. I'm going to read the light field here. You are very open to the other side. The veil that separates the worlds is very fine for you, for there is much love in your heart, and love exists beyond all barriers, including those of time, distance, and even death. If you wish to communicate with those who have passed on, do so through your heart. If you want to communicate energetically with your beloved, even though you are separated in physical location, then you can do so now. If your psychic abilities are opening up, this awakening, right? If your psychic abilities are opening up and you need confirmation or reassurance, accept this message of guidance as being such. Those who have passed can be received fully and peacefully into the light, and your love guides them home. The messages that you sense in your own heart that come from unconditional love that uplift and reassure can be trusted. The light is so close to you, beloved. It surrounds you as glow from within. This oracle brings you guidance that you are connecting with a field of awareness that is real and that you are protected by light as you do so. It is confirming that there is nothing for you to fear and that those that have passed on or will pass on in future will always be safely held in love. It is also confirmation that there are very real bonds that connect you to your loved ones, past, present, and future, that are beyond the confines of time and space. So I feel a lot like there's energetic shifts happening. Yes, for sure. I feel like this is a lot about understanding yourself as a conduit, Taurus. Like I'm feeling like there's this awakening, a spiritual component. I feel like it's going to happen, or it is happening, regardless of whether your energy centers are in perfect shape, right? They so seldom are, right? Spiritual awakening doesn't really happen to those who are already ascended. Like that's not, sorry, I don't mean to giggle like that, but it's just because I used to think that when I was younger, right? I used to say, oh, this has to be this. No, everybody is navigating this imperfectly and beautifully, and that's why it's so amazing. That's why it's an awakening, is because there's not an element of surprises in like, hey, and like somebody's waiting behind the curtain to go like, boo, and like, there's no jump scares. This is about understanding that what's coming through, you could have gifts of channeling, of mediumship coming through right now. But what I'm getting a lot here, Taurus, is you need to first believe in yourself as a container, that conduit. I'm hearing again. My voice is going because I worked a community pride event for my hometown in Brampton. And I worked a booth there on Sunday, and it is Tuesday, and my voice is still kind of gone. But it was a good time, so it was great. Got to see Priyanka, drag queen. It was fabulous. Anyways, so my voice is still a bit scratchy. So I'm just going to grab a bit of water. Okay. So I feel that right now, Taurus, there is a significant energy of conduit. Like, you don't have to be the perfect channel for something. You don't have to be the best. Like, you just have to be open and willing. So it's just cultivating that willingness right now. And I feel like that's maybe what you're remembering is the fact that you don't have to be the perfect container. There's something about I want to say confidence, but I don't know if it's confidence necessarily. I don't know if it's necessarily confidence right now. Both. Okay. So these were, they fell out on the bottom. So we're starting with heal, which is the star card, and the well-deserved reward. This is the 9 of cups. Sorry, it took me a second. 9 of Cups and the Star card in the traditional Rider-Waite. But I like that these decks have a different spin on them. So I feel like there's this, it's like the reward can come across as like an achievement. But I feel like what the achievement is here is just deepening your intuition, deepening your relationship to yourself through your intuition. And it's giving you greater confidence. I think it's more so giving you this you feel more competent, which feels like confidence. It can be an aspect of it, but what I'm seeing more so is this is possibly also your ability to heal others with things that come to you, or awarenesses that you have, or knowledge that meets you on the path, right? Helpless and hopeless. So 8 of Cups. And by 8 of Cups, I mean 8 of Swords. Sorry. I think I look at the colors, and my synesthesia and numbers are so funny. My brain is just wired a bit different. So, anyways, this is 8 of Swords. So this is, the energy that you're embracing. Now, this is interesting because I feel like you're embracing the parts of you that maybe felt helpless, that maybe felt hopeless. Like, instead of pushing it away and saying, oh, no, no, I have to immediately transmute that. I have to deal with that right away. I have to, it's like you're sitting with it, and you're seeing that there's like a dawn here happening. There's a horizon, and it's not because you're looking in a different direction and that's helping you. You're actually seeing in a direction. There's a directionality here. There's like an internal compass. Solar plexus, yeah, internal compass. And I think that you're releasing issues around the solar plexus. This is the what we're releasing. So I think it's issues that have bound up the solar plexus and made it really confusing for you to be in touch with this healing energy that you have to offer others. I do think there is success at the other side of this. I think it's also really important just to remember that there might be ways that you will not have answers. You may not have answers for specific aspects of this, Taurus, but it doesn't mean that you don't deserve, or you don't know, right? Because knowing is so funny in terms of its relationship to time. We know things when they arrive on our path for sure, but intuition can give us more information than that. Intuition can give us more help than that. So it's really about staying in touch with and in tune with yourself. And when you feel helpless and hopeless, usually that's a good sign that more boundaries are needed, more answers are needed. But there's also stepping into this Aries energy, right? This Jupiter in Aries retrograde, taking a stock. What's happened in the first 6 months of the year related to your sense of self? What happened there? And Jupiter was in Pisces, which was a beautiful transit. My Jupiter is in Pisces. I was like, woo, I was so excited. I felt like, I've said it before, but I felt like the entire damn house in up. It was great. It was so good. There was expansion. It was light. There was so much going on. But how did your sense of you and your confidence in your abilities and your skills, how that grounded you, right? This is a good time to get grounded again. Dream big, expand into the Jupiter energy. But the retrograde is a good time to ground that expansion. So just remembering, feeling helpless and hopeless, they are feelings, they are states. Observe them, yes. Pay attention to them, yes. However, don't allow them to dictate the terms by which you live your world, your narratives, your reality, right? Okay, so how the light gets in is the 6 of Swords. So healing begins, right? This is beautiful, heart-centered energy. I feel a whole lot like this is you seeing I'm hearing new path, seeing the way based on something that's coming from your heart as opposed to where you are, right? This is like planning. This, to me, it's the 6 of Swords is not necessarily a planning card, but to me, this is a card of a planning orientation. Like you're oriented towards a planning state. There's a way that you're focused on that. But it's because you're ready. It's almost like what was behind the curtain was always there, but now you're ready to look beyond it. And this is the moving away energy of the 6 of Swords. You're really releasing patterns that held you back. And that's fantastic. My ear's ringing. Okay. Spirit, what messages do you have for Taurus, my Taurians, for this July creative forecast, please? And you know what? That's the rememory. Like, I feel like this is like you remembering. There's like a personal power here that's informing this grounded activation of energy to this is like your personal will, your power, right? And I feel like this is you taking steps from that place and activating an energy. This could be part of the awakening that we picked up on. I think you're cultivating an intimacy with yourself. And maybe that's part of this Cancerian energy where it's when it meets with this Jupiter and Aries, it's expanding all the right things for your energy right now, Taurus. 10 of Swords. Yeah, that's the release. Ain't that the truth? you're looking for information because I don't think that you trust where you are. I feel like there's a truth that is, it's like you recognize your truth and you wield it, but then I feel like there's this hesitation. There's a hesitation here. Nines do indicate ending. So I feel like whatever, there was a substantial ending here that you're healing from for sure. It's connected you with your truth though. And it's kind of allowing you there. I'm picking up on this hesitation, right? This nine of cups to me is like this sense of self that you gained. And I feel like the important part to remember is that this 10 of swords is like that pain was not without purpose. The healing card here, the star, is saying that there's perhaps a way that will help heal other people. That will help activate that energy for other people. That will help you to do things for and with other people. But I think that you have to get past the past, just that little bit. Like there's endings here, there's endings of cycles, there's new things coming in. You've done the work because you've done the work and you've connected to your truth and what's most important to you, right? You've done that. Now, with all of that being said, there's a lot of throat chakra energy here. There's a lot of throat chakra energy. So this could be the way that you're articulating that, not just that sense of self, but like you can have an awareness of what's important to you, but how are you communicating that with other people? This is a little bit of like, I'm hearing boundaries, but this is like a little bit more intense than boundaries. Like these are maybe some walls. So I think that you are moving through. Pages are motion energy. It can mean people coming through. This could be someone coming through to, I dislike the codependent sound of to knock down walls, but because it feels icky to me, right? Because that should never be somebody's job ever. But what I'm picking up here for you, Taurus, is that there's maybe I'm hearing disarm. Thank you so much, Spirit. Oh my gosh. That's the energy I was picking up on, is like, there's something disarming that's coming, and it's going to make it very clear that the Nine of Wands just don't, they might have served a purpose, but let the pain serve the purpose. The Nine of Wands don't need to join you on the journey. So just a little bit of a reminder, right, with where you are right now and that energy needing to go. Eight of Wands, Eight of Swords, Eight of Wands. I feel like this is very quick movement away from whatever's been holding you back in terms of your mindsets, which is good because I think it's activating this solar plexus energy that is then freeing up energy to move into your heart space where this healing is going to be in motion for you. And in motion just meaning that you're going to be able to translate this into practical actions to take. Yeah. But I think there's this overarching gentleness. Like I feel like it's really important for you to be very soft with yourself right now, Taurus, because I get the impression that there's just a lot of stuff that's gone down for you. Yeah, it's there's an importance, there's a maturity that you're at right now, and it's important to honor and just to remember to fill your own cup. I know this is not the King of Cups, but what I'm seeing right now is just this way that you fill your own cup with the tenderness that is unique to you. What does that mean for you? How does this allow you to embrace yourself from a more emotionally mature place? Oh, there's a counterpart energy, Queen of Pentacles and Page of Wands. Ideas bringing people together. But I think more than that, yeah, ideas bringing people together. Holy crap. Then I shuffled and that's what I came out on the split. You know what? Okay, so thank you so much, Spirit. And then the Queen of Pentacles was still on the bottom. Okay, so that's I'm not, when it comes out twice like that, thanks, but that's what that means. So I do feel, okay, so I feel like relationships may figure prominently here, but I think that there's ideas that are coming that are going to perhaps bring these parts of you together. Parts of you just meaning like there's like this social part of you. Like I'm more introverted. I know how to be in crowds well, right? Like I was talking to someone on the weekend at the tent I was working at the Pride event in, hanging out with the mayor and, all of this, like the politicians and stuff that are friends. And it's like seeing all of that and knowing how to navigate that is different than feeling completely at ease in it. And I think that it's like there's something that's bringing these different things together. I use that example just to say, as an introvert, I went home exhausted. I went home so tired. I was like, oh my gosh, can I pull over and just nap here, please? Like, because those and doing that for a long period of time can be very depleting. But it's like finding these parts of you that energize you so that it's like you can take these aspects and bring them together in ways that enliven what you do at the core. They enliven you. And I'm seeing electrical signals go between the mycelial networks underground, and how it's almost like you're connecting with this deep rooted part of you, and it's like you're seeing the synaptic. Oh my gosh! Okay, thank you so much, Spirit. There's like 6 things trying to come through. Okay, please just one at a time. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay. Thank you so much. So everything is kind of the signals are connecting and the synapses are firing across these mycelial networks. So you are getting information about the contents of the soil, so the environment that you're in, and that's allowing you to bring together all of these different aspects of yourself into one complete whole, where you might have thought maybe that wasn't possible. The Eight of Swords is a mental, it's a thought pattern, but it almost, I'm getting that it's like a thought form, because what I also saw was coral fungi. People might be like, it's fungi. It's fungi or fungi, either one, both, whatever. So it grows in really moist conditions. And I went to Algonquin Park, which, oh my gosh, I love it there. But I went there last summer a couple times, and one of the logs was growing, and it was growing up out of the just this smush, and it was this absolutely beautiful, it was just like a stunning juxtaposition against the darkness of the tree, because it was a tree that was decomposing, and there was a little tiny spot where enough light could get in, I suppose, and give life to this mushroom. And it was just such a beautiful it was just such a beautiful sight. But what I'm seeing is that there's an aspect of that where just enough light is getting in that you're able to see these electrical signals going, and so you feel protected, A, but B, you also feel like you can do it. And confidence isn't coming from, your aptitude with skills. It's knowing who you are, and that there's some way that this is what you were made for. Like this is spiritual. This is like a mission, right? Like something about your path and ideas on the path, bringing together these parts of you. It's going to happen quite quickly. It could be messages coming in about projects that you are fated to work on. Fated. There's no wheel here. Why did fated? Okay, we might see the wheel. Fated. That's interesting. You can't see my face, but I have my like eyebrow dent. It's very like, what is going on here? Fated. So it could be something on the path that's fated, and it could. I mean, this. Okay. I'm going to keep pulling cards. Spirit, can you please clarify the solar plexus energy here, please? Page of Cups. There it is. Thank you, Spirit. I was like, faded. What? Where's the wheel here? Oh my gosh. Okay, so anyway. What I'm seeing is there's a faded path. There's something faded on your path that's coming this month. Or that's related to the Jupiter retrograde, because this is also Jupiter and Piscean energy, but it's also Sagittarian energy. I feel that I don't think it's going to be the approach that you would assume of this opportunity or whatever's coming, because it seems like it's disproportionate. Like the wheel and the page, like I'm seeing like faded, and then it doesn't look like it's, like small fish in a big pond is what I'm hearing. Right, like I think about the totality of Algonquin Park, and then this tiny little coral fungi growing in a log, right? But that's what I saw and focused on. So it's almost like you might see a detail that jumps out and that fills the rest of the picture. But it's like you're balancing the way that you're carrying both the big picture and the small details, so that you don't forget your ability to actually act on things, your ability to integrate energy and to move forward on what's calling you. But that faded energy is mighty loud. Knight of Cups, yeah. So I feel like the idea, the offering, it is what matures through your acceptance of the fated path ahead of you. So it's like you go from the Page of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, to the Knight of Cups. So it's the idea, but your feelings about the idea are maturing, and the idea is maturing within you. So there's some kind of emotional growth, not attachment per se, but there's something about growth that's happening in the heart space, connected to your understand. Like I'm hearing made for this. So it could be something along those lines, Taurus, where an opportunity crosses your path and you're like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. It could be something along those lines. Yeah, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. That's like the ultimate in confidence, right? The ultimate in confidence. So it's not that this gives you confidence. It's like chicken or the egg. Which one came first? The confidence or the path? I think that they both came together at the same time because they were always existing at the same time. And time is funny like that. That's the big punchline, is that it's always happening all around us all the time. So, it's not going to be useful or helpful or fruitful, as it were. There's a tarot pun. It won't be, it's horrible. I know. It was Father's Day, so forgive the dad jokes, but it's like, there's a fruitful way of looking at this, and don't look at it through the lens of, well, I did this, so I got this. No, timelines opened up and shifted because you made choices. Yeah, it's not illusions here. Don't turn the path into an illusion, because there's a way that it will take away from your confidence and your ability to see that you can do this. Solar plexus, right? So healing begins. Oh, you want that here? Okay. Yeah, so don't let this path or whatever it is about your confidence fall under the moon, because it won't help you. Yeah, healing begins. I feel like this, so on the Six of Swords, we have the Three of Swords. This strikes me as like a disappointment. There was maybe some, it's not like my heart is shattered. I think this is more so like several things might have happened that dented your confidence, that made you feel like there were good reasons not to trust. But I feel like the light gets in through the cracks. That I'm hearing the Leonard Cohen song / poem song. Anyways, okay. I feel like this is how the light gets in. The wisdom of what didn't work before is going to allow you to really take off with whatever's unfolding right now. It's going to allow whatever's unfolding to take off as well. But taking off just meaning like you're going to take to it like a fish to water. So, and that you might not trust it right away because you're so excited about it. Like it's, the cups in terms of the court, like the Page of Cups and the Knight of Cups, that to me is like a sensitivity, but it's also this like, this sense of yourself where you're just excited. It's like enthusiasm. It's sincerity, right? Emotional enthusiasm. And I feel like that is the maturing aspect here. Yeah. So there's the healing journey. You've already begun this, and because of the work that you've done, it allows you to really put some plans down, not just on paper, but emotionally and energetically. You're allowing them to sink in. So creatively speaking, if you were to look at this rememory, I feel like there are parts of you that I don't want to say forgot, because that doesn't do justice to the path and what actually hurt. I think that in terms of this rememory, it's like there are things you forgot because you had to leave it behind. You had to leave them behind, and what you need to remember, your rememory, is that they are all parts of you. They are all parts of you. You didn't technically leave anything behind. You decided to walk away from things that did not work. And there's a difference, right? One can leave you in a 5 of Cups. The other one can leave you feeling more in a 9 of Cups. And I feel like this is more so a reminder, right? You are not just on the path, but kind of the 9th cup, right? So it's also about knowing. This is, I think, also about knowing when to say when, and seeing that. This is possibly also related to North Node and South Node with the lunar eclipses, because this to me represents the eclipse energy. So Taurus and Scorpio. The next one, October 25th, is the partial solar eclipse in Scorpio. November 8th is the total lunar eclipse in Taurus. Don't kid yourself. I did not remember that. There's a post-it note on my wall. Because it comes up so much in reading. So I was like, I want this on a post-it note. Okay, so you may feel like there are some things you don't yet know, especially with this moon card here too. There may be some things that you feel like you don't yet have a good grasp on, but the important part is to remember that you don't need to remember all the details. You don't need to know all the details. You need to know what is pertinent for the step right in front of you. How does this resonate? 3333 on the time. How does this resonate for you on the path? What is the next step from here? What is the next thing I need to do? What is the next energy I need to embody? What is the next habit I need to look at in order to really take these things up? And not just looking at those things in isolation. It is being very curious about why and how those will be signs of success for you. Do you know how to define success for yourself? I mean, that sounds really patronizing, but like, what are your metrics? How will you know when something is done? How will you know when something is successful? What are your metrics so that you can understand what that feels like for you, right? How are you grounding this? How are you making this tangible for yourself? Yeah, it really is a choice. This could be about connections that come to you on the path, just as kind of like an aside, but this is a choice that you're making, right? There are choices that you will have to make. They may not feel the most comfortable, but I think that you're going to be making the choices that are in your best interest in for your future, planning your future, yes, but I think also a deep connection to your intuition that's going to enliven your relationships and connections this month, Taurus. Wow, this was one hell of a reading so far. I'm going to pull some messages. Actually, do you want the... Okay, I'm going to do the Elemental Oracle by Stacey DeMarco first, just to get an outro overview here. Spirit, what messages do you have for Taurus for this creative collective? Do you want this one? It was water. Okay. So, okay, thank you so much. I'm hearing to meditate with, on, or around water right now. It could be Cancer season and just that vibe of being in that energy. But I feel like it's going to figure prominently. Plants, growth. Yeah. This, I think, is, that's actually, thank you so much, Spirit. So the full moon in Capricorn is the buck moon. So this is possibly some buck moon energy, and it's the expansion and growth and the release of that. So things that you've planted, seeds of intention that you've planted along the way, perhaps during the Cancerian full moon on June 29th, 28th, 29th. I think that energy will help you, or there will be something connected to the buck moon in the full moon in Capricorn on July 13th. So maybe some things to keep in mind to work with that. Okay, that was on the bottom. Do you want this? Okay. Ease and grace. I love that energy. Ease and grace. I feel like this is more prescriptive, like something prescriptive. I mean, could be something for you to do for you. Love is the gentle, powerful presence that radiates through me when I quieten and deepen. It is safe for me to be gentle and graceful. I follow my heart's desire and take the path of least resistance. It is easy for me to be gentle and graceful when I connect to the rhythms of the earth and the universe. I flow gently and easily. Yeah. So integrating this aspect of water, but also integrating the power of water as almost an aspect of yourself, Taurus. I could be speaking to a Taurus with some water placements or earth energy with water placements. But yeah. And I recognize that this might be more reindeer than buck, but it's fine. We're going to go with buck moon because that's what came to mind. Okay. Okay, that's super interesting. Thank you so much, Spirit. I was looking at the 2-9 here, and I saw 11, and then I saw that meditating with, on, or by water is going to help you. There's like ascended master energy that you're connecting with through it, so it's almost acting as like a conduit. I'm hearing quantum jumping. So looking up quantum jumping with water, that might be something that will be helpful for you, Taurus. That might be something not just useful, but because we don't think about it in terms of like, oh, it has value because it's useful. No, it is not it. What I'm talking about here is more so just something that might help you to integrate energies and to use the moon energies and the intention energies well. Okay. Spirit, what messages do you have for Taurus for this July creative forecast? I think you're remembering, like, it's not just faith in yourself. It runs way deeper than that. I feel like something is just like, there's like, I'm seeing relationship here. I'm seeing forward movement with a career, with some pentacles. Your spiritual path, like there's a lot that's coming together here. You'll find what you seek. So just remember your perspective, right? Remember your perspective. You'll find what you seek. I also, finding hearts, chef's kiss, love it. But you'll find what you seek. So finding hearts, just the backstory. I had a blog for years that was the Finding Hearts Project, and everywhere that's hence this tattoo right here. You can't really see it, but anyway, I would look for hearts, and that would be my sign from Spirit that everything would be okay. So it was just like, that was my Spirit's way of communicating with me and just sending me little signals, right, that were specific to me, and they would find me in the most ridiculous ways. Like I went on a hike in the middle of nowhere, and there was a broken, like it was an old mill that we passed by. The hiking spot in Ontario is really funny. It's called Balls Falls, and I don't understand. I was like, why am I here? Like, there's nothing here for me. If you know, you know. But anyways, there was a heart that someone had painted or spray painted perfectly, like it was just in the middle of nowhere, right? So stuff like that will happen. Or I'll see a leaf that will fall and it falls in the perfect shape of a heart. Or there's just tons of ways that they find me. Even now I don't blog about it as much, but that's my thing. So like finding a way that is unique to you. Some people, one of my friends, my friend Steve uses stars. He was using stars at one point. He was like, this is amazing, because when you're open to it, it starts to come, right? It's like when you are looking for it, your brain recognizes that and starts to pick up on it everywhere, right? So it's remembering how supported you are, and also how amazing your system is to align you with these things. And also the energy of it is that you're calling towards you what you're looking for. So are you looking for signs and opportunities that would resonate with how much belief you have in yourself, Taurus? Or are you looking for opportunities that would reinforce the question mark that you have in specific areas of your heart space? So that is your reading. Oh my goodness, channeling. I am going to go sit in a hammock now and read a fiction book called Lamb by Christopher Moore about Jesus' childhood friend Biff. So I hope that you have an equally relaxing afternoon, Taurus. And if this resonated, please like and subscribe. I hope that it did. There are other ways you can connect with me on the channel, so feel free to do that. But if this is where we part, my wonderful, beautiful Taurians, I hope that wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, it finds you very well. And I wish you a wonderful July ahead. Take care of that beautiful heart of yours.